Okay, everybody has my second screen pinned. Can you guys see it? Does it look a little bit better today? Like, okay, everybody has it pinned. Can I begin? Oh, you guys there? I'm not hearing anybody answering me. Yes, only Jerome. Everybody has it pinned, guys. Can I begin?
Yes,
Yes, miss.
Okay. Okay. So, I know that not everybody will have electricity tomorrow, and especially around these areas around school. So, if we manage to finish the activities today, then we won't need to have class tomorrow. All right. But if we don't finish, then I will be having classes so that we can finish the activities. Right. So we will try to do as much as we can right now. So yesterday we had worked three problems. Okay, yesterday we had worked three problems. We had worked the first one, which was numbers. Can you guys see it clearly? Because I see that a bit blurry. Okay, and this was question number two, and we had said that these were the answers where you had R1, E1, N1, and V1. All right, so this was one that we had the second question. For the third question, this was the graph that we had, the image, and we reflected this image and we got new points. So we got the points for W1, F1, and K1. And then this is what you guys will need to show in your responses. All right. And then we had begun number four, which was this one. Right? This was question number four. And in this one, we had to reflect it across what line? What did it say? What line? Anybody? What was the instructions for number four? Reflect across what?
reflected across the x equals what?
X equals 1 or negative 1?
Negative one is
Negative 1. Okay, good. And then that is the yellow line that I have there. So I'm just going to draw this image, match it so that you guys can see what I'm doing here. And then this is the image that was given to you guys, right? Now, based on this image, you guys had to well, we have to reflect it, right? So basically, we need to reflect the image so that we have a new, or we have the points for the reflected one. All right. So now, my bad, my bad. Okay. So for this one, for this one, We're gonna go point by point, right? So if I'm gonna look at Z that is right here, I am going to count how many spaces is away from this line so that I can get the new one. So in this case, you have 2 points for Z. So two spaces. So I'm gonna have two spaces on the other side. And my new point for Z is gonna be there, and I'm gonna have Z1. All right. So now Z1, my coordinates for Z1 is 1 on the x-axis and 2 on the y-axis. So this is the first point. All right. I'm gonna do the same thing. Take a look at V right here. V is two spaces away from the line of reflection. So I am going to be doing that as well, counting two spaces on the other side. So I'm gonna count 1, 2, and my new point is gonna be here for V1, right there, right? V1. So two spaces is from V, so then it has to be two spaces as well from V1. And then my new point here, good morning, Eimer. V1 is gonna be 1 on the x-axis and -1 on the y-axis. So these two are your points. All right? Anybody has any questions so far?
Clear, miss.
Clear? Okay. If I look at G, G is right there. If I take a look at G, G is right exactly on the line. And because it is exactly on the line, then G1 is also going to be here. So G1 is going to be the exact same coordinates, right? It's going to be -1 on the x-axis and then 3 on the y-axis. Right there. And then now if I take a look at M, right there, M is two spaces away from the line. So then now I need to have two spaces on the other side as well. So my point for M1 is gonna be here, right there, right? And the coordinates for M1 is gonna be -3 on the X and then 1 on the Y, right? And then now these is what you guys will write for your answer for question number 4. Any questions so far? No questions? So
Miss, I
now
can see the answer. You can move it a little bit to the center.
a little bit to the center, like that.
Yes, miss.
Miss, I have a question.
Yes, Sitlali, go ahead.
Miss, are we supposed to do that work in the graph paper?
No. For this is activity 2, section 1. It only asks for the coordinates. I am doing the graph so that you understand how I'm getting the answer. But you guys will only be showing this, the coordinates.
Miss, so we just have to copy that on the under section 2.
Yeah, well, under section 1, let me
Okay, miss.
if you guys take a look at activity 2, this is activity 2, right? Let me write it in the chat. This is learning activity number 2, and we're doing section 1. Section 1 gives you the coordinate to tell you reflect across x equals -1, and it gives you the coordinates. And what you need to write is these coordinates, the new coordinates that we have gotten. This is what the question asks you to give. So this is all that you have to give, right? The whole graph, this whole working that I am doing, this is not requested from you guys. It is just for you to see how we get from the original image the new image. right? So you guys only have to write the coordinates that I have here in red. Is that clear?
Clear, miss.
Okay, good. Now, if we were to have drawn the new image, so let's go ahead and draw the new image. Let me use a different color. Use the pink. If I were to connect the dots for the new image, our image would look like this. I am connecting the dots of the new image. And then there you go. Can you see that it's being reflected? The blue image is the original image, and then the pink one is what happens when you reflect it. Yes? Can I move on? Okay. So we had worked with, you guys can unpin my screen so that it goes back, that you can see everybody. Just unpin it so that I can share the screen right now, right here. So I'm going to share my screen now, right? Okay, so this was what we had worked with yesterday. You guys were doing these questions. Okay, these were the questions for section one, right? So this was the first one. This is the second one. This is the third one. These are the ones that we did yesterday. And then this one is the one that we just did together. Now, section two. Now we're moving into the second part. Section two is asking you guys for a descriptive rule. Now, what does it mean with a descriptive rule? They are telling you is, does it reflect across the x-axis? Does it reflect across the y-axis? Does it reflect across the line x equals to y? Where is the reflection happening on what line? That is what these questions are asking you to do. All right. So if we look at this image, and we have to analyze the image very carefully. Look at the reflection that is happening here in this shape. The black shape is the original shape, and the blue shape is the reflection. If I were to look at where is the reflection happening, take a look at where F is and where F1 is, where K is and where K1 is, and where J is and where J1 is, and where V is and where V1 is. Where do you see the reflection happening? The reflection line has to be exactly in the middle. So if we take a look at F and F1, the reflective line has to be exactly in the middle of these two. K and K1, the reflection has to be exactly in the middle of these 2 points. So what line is exactly in between those points that you can see that that is where the reflection is happening? Anybody? Okay, first let's take a look at this. Is it a horizontal? Okay, is it a flip horizontally or is it a flip vertically? Is it flipping side to side or is it flipping up down? How do you see the shapes? Is it a flip up down or side
Flip
to
up
side?
down.
Repeat again.
It flip up down.
It's a flip up down. If you look at where K is and where K1 is, one is at the top and one is at the bottom. If you look at F and F1, what is at the top and what is at the bottom? So now this is a horizontal flip. A horizontal flip. Now, when it means a horizontal flip, it means that there is a flip across the y-axis. Somewhere on the y-axis. This shape does not reflect right on the y-axis because the y-axis is this line in bold. This line in bold. Not sorry, not the y. Okay. If it were a reflection on the y-axis, meaning that it is a flip. 1 second, guys. It is a flip on the y-axis because we are flipping up down, right? And you have the top portion and you have the bottom portion. Now, where on the y-axis is the flip happening? Where? What number? What number? Which one of these lines is the flip happening on? If you have to count the little blocks, count the little blocks. But what number is the flip happening at? Anybody? If we look at the diagram, and I told you guys, it has to be right in between F and F1, right in between J and J1, right in between V and V1, right in between K and K1, exactly in the middle of those. What line?
Negative things.
I heard two. Negative two, positive two,
Two negative trims.
two, negative three. No, 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 no. We don't want to coordinate. We want a line. Right? If you take a look at the questions that we had y is equal to -1, x is equal to -1. We want a reflection across those lines. We only want 1 point. For example, if the image was reflected right here on this line, I would have y is equal to -2 because that is where the reflection is happening on this line. If I take a look at this image, the reflection is happening right in between F and F1, right here. Right here. See? Right there. This is where the reflection is happening, right? Right here. Right? This is where the reflection is happening because F is here and F1 is here. So the reflection is right in between here. So what point is this one? 2. It's positive 2. So my reflection and what you are going to write for this question, reflection across y is equal to 2. And that is going to be the answer for this question because the reflection is happening right on that line. Any questions? Do I need to explain again? Or do I move to the following question? Is it clear? Yes, no, maybe repeat again, clarification.
Yes,
Yes, it's
yes.
okay. Let's look at the other one. Okay. Now this one is a reflection. The blue image is the new image and the black image is the original image. So, what line is that being reflected? What do we call that line? If we take a look at this one, right? The reflection is happening right here. Right? Can you guys see it right there? That is where the reflection is happening. So you have the original image that is being flipped over to that side. So the reflection is happening right there. This line, anybody knows what we call this line? Anybody? Nobody has an idea what we call it? Yes, not yesterday. On Monday, when we were talking about the different reflections, we talked about something called y is equal to x, right? Y is equal to x is a line that crosses in that direction. But this line is crossing in the opposite direction. Or x is equal to y or y is equal to x goes like this. This one is going in the opposite direction. Because it is going in the opposite direction, it is a reflection of y is equal to negative x. Right? When it goes in this direction, it is y is equal to x. When it goes in the other direction, it is y is equal to negative x. Anybody has any questions? Was that one clear?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Number 8. What reflection is happening here? Just by looking at it, you can tell me where is the reflection happening?
Across the X.
Across what line? Where is what on what line is the reflection happening? Across the x-axis. Very good, Jerome. Across the x-axis. And that will be your response. Reflection across the x-axis. The next one. Where is the reflection happening? Take a look. P is right here, and you have P1. Take a look exactly in the middle. Exactly in the middle. What do we call this point where this line is happening? What is this point? Exactly in the middle of these two. Exactly in the middle. See? Can you guys see it? What do we call this point right here?
Negative.
-3. Very good. So that one is going to be a reflection across x is equal to -3 because this is the x-axis. This one right here, my mouse. This one right here is the x-axis, and this reflection is happening on this line. X is equal to -3. Anybody has any questions? Questions? No questions? Okay, guys,
Moment.
go back and pin my screen again, the other screen, find it, and you pin it. We're gonna begin with learning activity number 1. That one has to do with the graphing. I had asked you guys to draw your graphs, have them ready, just like the questions that I had given to you guys. So have them ready because this is what the question already gives you, and then we only have to do the reflection. All right, so everybody should have their graphs already. So everybody ready? Can I begin?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Question number 1 says reflect across the x-axis. So now if I'm looking at my diagram right here and I need to find reflection across the x-axis, then I need to label my x-axis. My x-axis is right here and this is y. So my reflection is going to occur on this line on the x-axis. That is where my reflection is going to happen. All right? So I can go ahead and I can highlight that. I'm gonna color. Right, this is where my reflection is gonna happen. This is my line of reflection. And I need to reflect this image across this line. So what does that mean? That these 2 points, L and G, are gonna show up on the other side, and then this point Q is gonna be on the other side. That is what the reflection means, right? You're switching the places across that line. So now if I need to find the points, I am going to find Q right here, and I need to find Q1. How many spaces away from this line is Q?
One.
One.
From this line blue, the blue line to point Q, from here to here, how many spaces is it?
One.
One miss.
It's one space. So I am gonna count one space on the other side, and this is gonna be Q1. Exactly on the same line. Exactly on the same line. Before I continue, you need to make sure that your original image is the same as the drawing. Your point Q should be on 4, -1. So that is the first thing. Cross check that very quickly. Point G is 3, 5, and point L is 1, 2. If you do not have these points correct in your original image, everything is going to be wrong. Everything is going to be incorrect, because if you don't have the original image, your reflection will not be correct either. Right? So then now Q1, my new point, has a new coordinate. Right? But they're not asking us to give the coordinates, they're asking us to graph. So we're only graphing. How many points is G? How many spaces is G away from this line? How many spaces do you have here?
5.
5. Very good. So if I have 5 spaces at the top, I need to have 5 spaces at the bottom as well. And then my point is going to be right here. And this one is going to be G1. L. How many spaces is L away from the reflection line? 2. So I need to have 2 as well here at the bottom. 1, 2. And this is going to be L1. So I have reflected the 3 points: Q1, L1, G1. These are the reflected points from my image. After I have reflected the image, then I need to connect the points. And you do that with your ruler, not freehand. So you connect the points. And then there you have the reflection. The one in blue is the original, the one in purple is the reflection. And your points are labeled GLQ, G1, L1, Q1. Any questions?
No, miss.
Everybody has this one? Can I move on?
Yes.
Okay. Question number 2. Question number 2 asks you to reflect across y is equal to 3. So I need to draw that imaginary line first. Y is equal to 3. Let me draw that line. So because it says y is equal to 3 on the y-axis, on this line, on the y-axis, I am going to find 3, right? And it's +3, so +3 is right here, and this is where I'm going to be drawing my line, right on the tree. And that is my line where the reflection will happen. So these 2 points will end up being at the bottom, and this point will end up being at the top. All right? So let's go ahead and do that. How many spaces away is you from this reflective line? How many spaces?
Two.
2 spaces,
Two,
very good. So because it is 2 spaces, I'm gonna have 2 spaces at the bottom as well. And it's gonna be this point. So this is gonna be U1. X, how many spaces is X away from the reflective line?
Two.
2. So I'm gonna have 2 at the bottom as well. My point is gonna be here, and I'm gonna have X1. Now L is how many spaces away?
Two.
So I'm gonna reflect that at the top. 1, 2, and this is gonna be L1. So I have the 3 points. I have L1, U1, X1. I have reflected all 3 of them. So I can go ahead and I can connect them, right? In because these ones are the same, you will more than likely have them on top of each other. You can't really see the difference. You can connect these ones, and then you can connect these ones. And there you have the reflection. Any questions? Did everybody understand? Okay. Can I move on to number 3?
Yes, miss.
Number 3 says across y is equal to 1. Across y is equal to 1. So again, I need to go on my y-axis, y, and I need to find the number 1, positive 1. Positive 1 is right here, so I'm going to draw my line right here. Right? And that is where the reflection is going to happen. So these 2 points will show up at the bottom, and this point will show up at the top, right? So let's go ahead and do that. If I look at T, how many spaces is T away from this reflective line?
3.
3 spaces, very good. So I'm gonna count 3 spaces at the bottom. 1, 2, 3. So this point is where T1 is going to be. T1. If I look at Y, how many spaces for Y? 1 space for Y, and I will have Y1. And then if I look at I, how many spaces is I away?
One.
1. So I'm gonna have 1 space for I1. And I have my 3 points. I go ahead and I connect the dots. Okay. Connect the dots. Dile, yo ya les dije. Ajá, él sabe de la mía. Okay. There you go. So the original image is the one in blue, and then the reflected image is the one in orange. Right? And then you can tell the difference in your case, since everything is gonna be in pencil, you guys can note the difference because how you are labeling it. The original image is ITY, the reflected image is I1T1Y1. Right? That is how we know the difference in the reflection. Can I move on? We have three more to go.
Yes, miss.
Yes? You guys have a class after this?
No. No, miss.
You sure?
Yes, miss,
Yes.
until 1.
After that, until 1 o'clock.
Okay, so if we pass a little time, that's okay. We've managed to finish the three of them.
Yes, miss.
Okay. Okay. So is this one says across the x-axis. So I look at my image and it is across the x-axis. So it is across this line. This line right here. A reflection there. Right? So now in this case, I take a look at the points. I have M. M is exactly on the same line, so M1 is going to be there as well. Right? Same point. P is one space away, so I'm going to have P1 at the top. Z is how many spaces away?
2. 2, miss.
How
Three.
many?
Two.
Three spaces. One, two, three. So I'm gonna count one, two, three, right here, and this is gonna be Z1. How about D?
Four.
Four. So
Four
I'm
minutes.
gonna count four spaces, and then D1 is gonna be here. Right? There you go. And then now I'm gonna connect the points. Connect the points. From here to here. Here to here. And this one. And then this one. Right? Yes? Everybody has that?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Number five. Number five and number six do not give you any image. It gives you a blank grid, but it does give you the coordinates that you are supposed to plot, and then it gives you across what you're supposed to reflect it. So the first thing that we do here is that we need to plot
Excuse
the
me,
point.
miss.
Yes, Russell?
Miss, I don't see the last one.
You didn't see the last one? There you go.
Payment.
Okay. So you have T is 2, 2. That is the first point that we want to plot. So I go to my grid. I find where 2 on the X and 2 on the Y is. This is going to be my first point, and this is going to be T. And T only because this is the original image that I'm drawing, right? I see C is 2, 5. So I go ahead and I find 2 on the X and 5 over here. And I plot this one and I mark it as C. Then it says that Z is equal to 5, 4. So I go ahead and I find 5 on the X and 4 on the y. So z is going to be here. And then the last point, it says 5, 0. So I find 5 on the x and 0 on the y. And then this is where f is going to be. And you have the original image, right? And we can go ahead and connect the dots. There you go. Yes, everybody has the original image. No, this is the original image. We have the reflected. So this is just plotting the points here. T, C, Z, and F. We plotted the points, but now we have to do the reflection. And it says reflect across the x-axis. So in this case, I need to reflect across this line, the x-axis. Right? That is where the reflection is going to happen. This line that I drew in red. So all of these points that are here are going to be reflected on the other side. All right? So if I take a look at the points, and I can go ahead and mark them, F is going to be in the exact same place. So this is going to be F1. Z, how many spaces away is Z?
4.
4 spaces. So I want 4 spaces at the bottom as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. And this is going to be Z1. How about C? How far is C?
5.
5. Very good. So I'm going to have C, and this is going to be C1. 5 spaces away. And how about T?
2.
2.
2. So I'm going to have 2 spaces away for T1. And I have the 4 points. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect the dots for each one of these. And there you go. You have the reflection. So you do original image and then the reflected image. Can I move to the other one?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Okay. So then number 6 is the last question for the activity. The last question, and it says reflect across y is equal to -2, and it gives you H, M, B, and C. So you need to draw the original image and then do the reflection. All right? So let's go ahead and draw the original image. It gives you the first point as -1, -5. So I'm going to have and find -1 on the x and -5 on the y. Right there. And this is going to be h. Then it says m is -1, -4. And then this one is going to be m. The other one is b. It says b is 1, -2. So you have 1 and then -2 right there. This is going to be B. And then you have C, which is 3 and -3. 3 and -3. And this is going to be C. And then those are the points. And then we go ahead and we connect those points. And that is the original image. Right? Then it says that you are going to reflect it across y is equal to -2. And then if we look at that line, y is equal to -2 is this line right here. So this is where the reflection is going to happen. Right? So if that is where the reflection is going to happen, then we can see that B is in this right on the line. So B1 is going to be there. C is how many spaces away?
One,
1. So I'm going to have C1 over there. H is how many spaces away?
three,
3 spaces away. So 1, 2, 3. This is going to be H. And M,
two,
and then 2 spaces away is right here, and this is going to be M1, H1. So then those are my 4 points that I have reflected. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to connect them up. So, and then there you go. That is the reflection. Yes? Any questions?
Okay.
Okay, so then those were the 2 assignments, the 2 activities that were posted in Google Classroom. Um, so we completed the activities. We are not going to be having classes tomorrow. We've completed the activities. There isn't anything else really for us to do this week. You need graph sheet for next week again, all right? Because next week you're doing a rotation. So please have graph sheet with you for next week as well, all right? If there are no questions, then you are free to leave, and I will see you guys on Monday.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.
Bye, miss.
bye.
Bye.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye,
Bye, miss. Bye, miss.
guys. Bye. Bye.
Bye, miss.
Bye.